Start my video now.
Yes. He's gone into the Chelsea mood.
Yeah. And next week, I'm probably going to have the latest jersey on.
Look
I
at
just
Yeah,
that.
ordered
yeah,
that
that's good.
yesterday. Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. So, good to see everyone again. So, do you want to do the introduction this time, Trevor?
Yes, welcome along, everybody. I hope a good number of you there and you find what we have to say as in some way interesting. So this is the football referee, where we consider all things football, soccer as some call it. And I am Trevor Gear, and he calls me Cuz.
And I'm Emmy Hikins, and he calls me bruv.
And I'm Femi Madariola, and he calls me Sat Femo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good.
So, let's look at what we've got on the football referee. So New England coach, not yet confirmed. Pep Guardiola, not yet confirmed, I suppose. Or is it confirmed?
No, not yet. He's
No,
not yet confirmed.
not yet confirmed. Right. Okay. So, um, who mentioned Newcastle's
Trevor did.
was
Yeah,
it you?
I mentioned that.
Well,
Eddie
yeah.
Howe.
Eddie Howe.
Eddie,
Eddie Howe,
yeah,
yeah.
Eddie Howe. He's still in the running. He's still very much in the running, Eddie Howe. So we've got a few. So
Contenders.
Chelsea in talks to sign 35 million pounds, former Manchester United star. Does anybody know anything about this?
Yeah, I think
Andreas
I forgot.
Pereira.
Yeah, Andreas Pereira, the Brazilian, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, Brazilian.
I don't.
So
To be honest, I don't see him that spectacular or a great player. To be honest,
no,
yeah, because in the first place, if he's that good, why would he leave United or United let him go?
yeah,
United will always hold on to their best of the best. And if they're
yeah.
going to sell their best of the best, they're probably going to sell to the likes of Real Madrid and stuff like that. So I don't see him as any spectacular player.
That kind of sounds like you're rubbishing Chelsea's potential or their ability in the Premiership. You know, you're
No, I'm
saying,
not. I'm not saying that. Look,
no,
the way we view football, the way we see football, we see it differently. If I was scouting for Chelsea, I wouldn't have scouted him. There are people who scout for Chelsea. They might know because they are on board. They might know what they want and where they want to play him, how they want to play him. But to me, we've got enough forward players in that Chelsea to, except Chelsea's buying it for onward sale, then that would be all right. Put him in the Premiership 1 or 2 seasons and he plays well. They end up selling him for 60 million because the new Chelsea board now, the new Chelsea management now is all about profit. It's fine, they want to win trophies, but the first thing is money. Money, 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 money. So whatever they're buying him for, I don't know, but they've got enough forward in that team bringing in Pereira. Enough forward, honestly.
yeah, yeah. Well, sorry, Andrea Pereira. You're not good enough for for
And and,
for
and you
Chelsea.
you hear Chelsea's going for this, Chelsea's going for that, Chelsea, but they don't get to buy all the players.
No,
And the Chelsea that I know now, the board going by the trend, they rather buy a younger player. If you look at that Omari Hutchinson they bought last season
yeah,
on a free of 2 million from Arsenal,
yeah.
loaned him out to I think Leicester City or something like that. And they ended up shipping him out for 23 million this season.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
that's a, that's a hefty turnover.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, what do you think, Trevor? over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, Trevor?
Well, I can't say I don't have much recollection of watching Pereira play. As you
No.
say, the fact that he went to Man United suggests he would be a good player. But having said that, their player Sancho, you may remember him. I think he went at the end of the season for quite a big amount. But I think he cost United about 80 million.
Yeah.
And actually, I saw Manchester United a few times last season, not least at Crystal Palace. And I thought I never saw Sancho have a good game. I thought, how can they have paid that much money? When you think of someone like Diaz at Liverpool, is that his name? Diaz on the wing, same sort of player, who's magic. And yet this Sancho just didn't seem to be able to keep or control the ball. So it doesn't necessarily mean a player is a good player. And the other side of this Pereira thing to Chelsea, I for what it's worth, I would be a bit concerned if I were a Chelsea fan about the likes of Todd Bowley and his crew. I'm sure his heart's in the right place. He's injecting loads of money. He's obviously got a bottomless pit of money, but his actions, I mean, he's paid a lot more, perhaps over the top, than he should have done for some players. And when you think that Graham Potter, who I was quite a fan of at Brighton, I always felt he needed a bit more oomph. He needed a bit more visible passion. But I think he's a good guy. They sacked him more than a year ago, right? He's still being paid more than £200,000 a week because of that 5-year contract. Can you imagine that? 200,000 a week, 52 weeks in a year. I mean, he was on, I think, 12 million a year for 5 years. So his contract ultimately would have been worth 60 million pounds. And they sacked him, obviously, with this enormous payoff. But you say, well, why would they have signed someone on a contract for 5 years with the risk that it might not work, as it certainly didn't? And I think they're also doing, as other clubs are doing, 8-year contracts to get around the financial fair play rules, which again is very short-sighted because when they want to offload somebody, they're not always going to find a club willing to pay that kind of salary to these people. They're always on huge salaries. So I think it's going to boom and bust the whole situation financially if they keep, if they can pay someone they've sacked. And I don't know how much longer they've got to go on paying Potter, maybe until he decides to get a job somewhere else. But this seems to be going on and on, £200,000 a week. And I think my comment there would be very nice work if you can get it.
I think when the new management came in, they jumped the gun. They got it wrong. They didn't do a proper homework before they started doing things they were doing. If you look at it now, the 8 years contract